What's up, everyone? Welcome to my channel. My name is Chandler, aka Entrepreneur, and this is the Entrepreneur channel. Oh my gosh, this is my first video. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I'm so excited. So excited. So on this channel, we're going to be talking about business. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, the good, the bad, the ugly, the ugliest, and everything in between. But today I'm going to focus on 3 tips that'll help you get started. Just FYI, first and foremost, I am a huge believer in education. Now, do I believe that you need to have a college degree to run a successful business? No. I don't care what that education is. But I do think that it is important. So I personally have 3 businesses. I have a nonprofit organization, a real estate investment company. I also just started a trucking business with a partner. Things are getting real over here. And it's a process. And I'm a firm believer in online courses. I'm a firm believer in mentorship. I think all of that is great and is essential, but sometimes you just don't know where to start. Like, you want to start your own business. What do I do? What do I need? Who do I tell? Like, where can I get my information from? So it can be a bit daunting. We're going to talk about that. I am a firm believer not only in education, but I'm also a firm believer in sharing that knowledge. You have some people who are like the information police. They're like,
oh, I can't give you any information because you're not a part of our secret
society. Like, stop it. I just meals. Stop. Someone else's, success or glow up has nothing to do with your glow up and things that you can do to be successful. It doesn't hurt you. There's enough out here for all of us. So let's get started with tip number 1. Tip number 1, and I know this may sound so cliche, but it is so important and so vital. Write it down. Write it down. Get a notebook, a journal, get a pen and a pad. Whatever is for you, do that. Write it down. I kind of call it like a purging of ideas. You sit down, even if you don't know where to start, you don't know what industry to get into, you don't know what suits you, get a piece of paper and a pen and sit down with that and just purge these thoughts and these ideas on that blank page. It could be an industry that you are passionate about. It could be something that you just really enjoy doing as a hobby, but you love it enough to make it into a business and you see some kind of financial gain with that business. It could be a problem that you want to solve. The world's best businesses are usually problem solvers. For example, a couple of years ago, I was in Walmart. Shout out to Walmart. Oh my God, I think they have like clearance stuff on sale. Okay, focus. I was with my mother. I was in Walmart. I miss my mom so much. She's been gone since 2017, but I miss her daily. But one of our favorite things to do was to just go in Walmart and walk around and see what we could find. So we were in Walmart and we saw this woman with like a shopping cart full of Crayola crayons, crayon boxes. And I thought to myself, like, the cart was full, like almost, her stuff was almost falling on the floor. And I was thinking to myself, I told my mom, I said, why does this woman have so many crayons? What is that? So of course, I'm nosy. So I went over and asked her, I said, excuse me, I don't mean to be in your business, but why do you have all these crayons in this cart? And she said to me, well, I'm a teacher and a lot of my students don't have the supplies that they need to do a full school day. And it just blew my mind. So I said to her, so you pay for this out of pocket? And she said, yeah. And I thought to myself, I have to do something about that, because it just showed me that there are so many students out there and so many families who just don't have it. And school supplies, if you're a parent, you know school supplies can rack up and be very expensive, especially if you have more than one child. So at that moment, I made it a goal to do something about it. So I started the nonprofit organization that I have, and we're going to be giving school supplies, like your pencils, your pens, your notebooks, the glue sticks, all the stuff the teachers need. Hand sanitizer, Lord. All of that stuff. I wanted to make sure that I could start a program that would be able to just give this stuff away to people and families who needed it. And so what derived from that was another program that I call the Book Smart program, where it's for incoming freshmen that are going into college, because they need books, they need textbooks. And I remember being a student at John Jay, shout out to John Jay College in New York. I have my degree, but I remember coming in as a freshman, and you know how you have like a book voucher, but it can take like 2 weeks for you to get that book voucher. So here you are in class without the book. So now you're like, I don't know how they do it now. I think they do it a little differently now, but back then, if you didn't have the book, you was sitting in class, and if the professor was nice, he or she would put it on their, would put the syllabus and maybe like 1 or 2 chapters from the textbook on the either on their portal, or you can email them and get it. But I was sitting in class for 2 weeks with no book. I was lost. So I wanted to solve that problem as well. So we have the Book Smart program, for the incoming freshmen, so that they don't sit in class and have no book and lost, don't know what's going on. So that was a problem that I saw. I made a nonprofit organization to solve that problem. So it could be a problem that you just see happening, or a problem that's in your neighborhood or at your job, or it could be the idea can literally come from nowhere. You'll be surprised what you can do with a pen and a piece of paper. So that's why my first tip, write it down. I don't know. Would you guys want to hear more about how to start a nonprofit organization? Comment below and let me know, and I'll see what I can cook up for y'all. Okay, so tip number 2. Tip number 2 for me, you guys also may think this is cliche, but I don't think it's cliche. I think it's pretty valuable, and that is to read. It doesn't only have to be on the topic that you want to, on the business that you want to start, or in that genre, but just reading in general. You get so much information. You'll be surprised at the information that you wind up consuming. Okay, story time. So back in 2003, I had my first son, he's so cute. He was a baby, and after I had him, my husband at the time was working full time. I was at home with the baby, and I really felt like I was lost. Like there was like a time lapse, and I had missed it. So I was like, oh my God, what is going on? Like I had to figure out what was going on in these streets. So I thought to myself, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do to get myself out there? What can I do to be in the know? And then I thought, I'll get a library card. I know. But you have to keep in mind, this is before social media. This is before Instagram, before Facebook. This is before YouTube. This is before anything like that was even in existence. So I go to the library. I get the library card. I have my son with me. He was so cute. He's going to kill me for showing that picture, but he's 17 now. But he was just so cute. So I got the library card. I'm in the library. The library is super quiet, which was great. I can have my son. He can sit in his little, in his little his little car seat, and or his little stroller, take a nap. It's quiet, he's not being bothered. I have my notebook, I have my pen, and I'm reading. And one of the first books I got off the shelf, because I knew I wanted to go to the business section, the first book I pulled was a book about Warren Buffett. Now, I had heard of Warren Buffett before, just as a college student, and I don't remember the name of the book, but it was a really good book. And in the book, he explained how kind of out of touch he was with everything else around him because he was always reading. I think he spoke of a story. He and his wife threw a birthday party for one of the kids, and he literally sat in the corner with a newspaper for the entire duration of the party. There's kids running back and forth, there's balloons and cake, but he just was a reader. And this is before the money. This is before all his money. He read a lot. And I think that reading is just one of those things that is super important. Like, you will really be surprised of the knowledge and and information that you get just from reading a good book, or anything surrounding business. It doesn't have to. Now, mind you, at the time I wasn't into the stock market or anything like that, but I wanted to know how he did it. I wanted to know what was his routine, like what was his day like. And reading that book gave me a really good inside track on how he got to be who he is today. So, step number 2, read. Read. Tip number 3, do your research. Do your research. Now, what I mean by that is, this is when you've already done your brain purge. I mean, there's times at night where sometimes I can't sleep because the idea is just in my head. I have to get up, I have to write it down. So after you've done your brain purge and you have an idea of what kind of business you want to start, you can start figuring out the name for the business. There's research involved in that. You want to check your Secretary of State's office. Depending, once you figure out your name, you're just going to do a search and see if any other company in your state has that name. I don't know, maybe we'll touch on that maybe in another video. Leave me some comments below and let me know if you're at that point where you're trying to figure out, do I want to be an LLC? Do I want to be a corporation? Do I want to be an S Corp? Do I want to be a sole proprietorship? Do I want to start a nonprofit? They are vastly different. So let me know in the comments below if that's something you want to touch on. I think we will anyway, but so go ahead, and once you get that first step down and you have an idea of the business that you want to do, you're going to research about that. You're going to find out as much information as possible. You're going to kind of become a whiz in that industry. Those are my 3 tips to get you started. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. My Instagram is @entrepreneur. The E is a 3. See it over there? Somewhere on the screen. So those are my 3 tips. I love you guys. Thank you guys for checking me out. And I'll see you guys in the next video coming up soon. Bye.